Namaste. Welcome to our continuing series Questions and Answers from the works of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. Today's subject is Consciousness, Part 17. From Sri Aurobindo. It refers to a certain stage when the consciousness is sometimes in activity and when not in activity is withdrawn in itself. Afterwards comes a stage when the Sachidananda condition is there in work also. There is a still further stage when both are, as it were, one, but that is the supramental. The two states are the silent Brahman and the active Brahman, and they can alternate. First stage, coexist. Second stage, fuse. Third stage. Certainly, it, the highest Sachidananda realization, is realizable in work. Good Lord, how could the integral yoga exist if it were not? The passage describes the state of consciousness when one is aloof from all things, even when in their midst and all is felt to be unreal, an illusion. There are then no preferences or desires, because things are too unreal to desire or prefer one to another. But at the same time, one feels no necessity to flee from the world or not to do any action, because being free from the illusion, action or living in the world does not weigh upon one. One is not bound or involved. Those who flee from the world or shun action, the sannyasis, do so because they would be involved or bound. They believe the world to be unreal, but in fact it weighs on them as a reality so long as they are in it. When one is perfectly free from the illusion of the reality of things, then they cannot weigh on one or bind at all. If consciousness and energy are the same thing, there would be no use in having two different words for them. In that case, instead of saying, I am conscious of my defects, one can say, I am energetic of my defects. If a man is running fast, one can say of him, he is running with great energy. Do you think it would mean the same if you said, he is running with great consciousness? Consciousness is that which is aware of things. Energy is a force put in action which does things. Consciousness may have energy and keep it in or put it out, but that does not mean that that is only another word for energy, and that it has to go out when the energy goes out, and that it can't stand back and observe the energy in action. You have plenty of inertia in you, but that does not mean that you and inertia are the same. And when inertia rises and sweeps you, it is you who rise and sweep yourself. Certainly, the mind and the inner being are consciousness. For human beings who have not got deeper into themselves, mind and consciousness are synonymous. Only when one becomes more aware of oneself by a growing consciousness, then one can see different degrees, kinds, powers of consciousness. mental, vital, physical, psychic, spiritual. The divine has been described as being, consciousness, ananda, even as a consciousness, chaitanya, as putting out a force or energy, shakti that creates world. The mind is a modified consciousness that puts forth a mental energy. But the divine can stand back from this energy and observe it as its work. It can be the witness Purusha watching the works of Prakriti. Even the mind can do that. A man can stand back in his mind consciousness and watch the mental energy doing things, thinking, planning, etc. All introspection is based upon the fact that one can so divide oneself into a consciousness that observes and an energy that acts. These are quite elementary things supposed to be known to everybody. Anybody can do that merely by a little practice. Anybody who observes his own thoughts, feelings, actions has begun doing it already. In yoga, we make the division complete. That is all. It, consciousness, is not by its nature detached from the mental and other activities. It can be detached. It can be involved. In the human consciousness, it is as a rule always involved, but it has developed the power of detaching itself, a thing which the lower creation seems unable to do. As the consciousness develops, this power of detachment also develops.